And a beauty from the rookie Jaden Daniels last year, and how things have changed. You know, you're listening to the Sports Spotlight with Rizwan, and on the airwaves, I've got Shep with me. Shep, are the Commanders just a snake-bitten franchise here? Jaden Daniels came in with all that promise last year, and this year it's just one injury after another. He came back from one injury and left with another one, and they finally just shut him down for the year. We're not looking at another RG3 here, are we?
Well, it's too early to say that for certain, because I mean he's only been in the league 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. So before we consign him to the dust heap of history, right? The dustbin of history. Let's see how he goes next year. The bigger concern I have for the Commanders is they just basically did a franchise reboot 2 or 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
They got to get all their scouts right. They got to get all the background right, and they've had such a bad injury season. I'm not going to write off the Dan Quinn era yet. So let's see what kind of moves they make in the offseason, how they draft. And then, look, if they have another bad year next year and then Daniels gets hurt all year next year too, then I think those conversations have to start.
Yeah. Well,
because you can't, if you can't trust your quarterback to stay healthy.
Staying healthy, being available.
About what happens if you have to play with a backup quarterback all the time?
Yep.
You get real problems.
Yeah. So they did get a victory last week, but that's just because they were playing the Giants and won 29-21. There were some duds. There were some absolute duds from a matchup standpoint on the calendar, on the schedule last week. So this one, the Commanders Giants. There was the Panthers and the Saints, which the Saints pulled off with Tyler Shuck. 2017 over the Panthers, even though at that point, I mean, the Panthers had everything to lose in that game, and the Saints.
And they did.
They did. The Jets-Jaguars went about as well for the Jaguars or as bad for the Giants, for the Jets.
I happen to think that game went great.
All right, let's talk about fantasy football, because yes, you did. You made the decision to bench Bo Nix and start Trevor Lawrence. For those of you, just to catch all up, so Shep and I are in an ancient, in the 24th year of this fantasy football league, a 16-team league, extremely deep league. With you can have as many as 5 offensive players, so it gets especially the wide receiver room gets so thin. There's nobody on the waivers. You've got to draft well. You've got to do some savvy free agency pickups early in the season if you want to do that. But as was proven out, sometimes you don't have to do any of that, because fantasy football can get you when it comes to the playoffs, the sudden death playoffs, right? And boy, oh boy, I know you wanted to talk about your team. Let me get this off my chest.
We'll give it a postmortem for you. Yeah,
you do everything right. You draft. You hit on these studs that nobody else had. Javonte Williams, Jalen Warren. You've got 2 absolute monster wide receivers where in a league of 16 teams, you're lucky if you have one, right? I've got CeeDee Lamb. I've got Justin Jefferson. And then what happened with this season for the Vikings is what happens. And it's week after week of weak showings by Justin Jefferson. And I take the blame. I said I 3 times because I take the blame. I did not have the guts. To bench Justin Jefferson, partly because it wasn't just the name. It wasn't just Justin Jefferson. It was the fact that he was playing Dallas, the worst passing defense in the league. That's why I left Justin Jefferson in instead of swapping him out with Travis Kelce. After what he had done all season, I was going to bench him, but then I was like, he's playing Dallas. His floor should be 10, 15, 20 points. Instead, I was completely wrong, and his floor ended up being 4 points, 2 catches. What the heck happened there? What is going on with the Vikings? What is going on with your boy Justin Jefferson?
I don't think he's got chemistry yet with J.J. McCarthy.
He
actually has played well the last 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, he was wide. Well, that's the thing. So I went with this because it's the Cowboys. You think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and who's their offense? Who's the focal? It was. It absolutely was. Vikings scored 34 points. J.J. McCarthy passed for 250 yards. 2 catches, 20 yards.
Yeah.
And I lose by 4 points.
To your brother.
To my brother.
In the first round of the playoffs.
In the first round of the playoffs. And that's the flip side of that, right? Maybe you don't need to do all of everything right, because who were his offensive players? George Kittle. He had 3 tight ends starting. 3 tight ends, and one of them was not Kyle Pitts. And he ends up scoring the second or third highest points and beating me. That was so. I was so sure I was winning that. You know, Saquon Barkley, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman. I drafted.
Don't look now, but your brother is a 65% favorite to make it into the championship game. He's currently got an 8-7 record.
Well, I mean, I'm pulling for him. God. But yeah, that's how frustrating fantasy football can be. But hey, let's switch the spotlight back to you. You had the foresight to bench Bo Nix and start the prince, the promised one, Trevor Lawrence. And boy, did Trevor Lawrence deliver for you.
I did. And then I benched Lawrence this week, and I put – because he's playing the Broncos defense.
Yep.
So like the real sport, okay, matchups are really, really important in fantasy. And my feelings are a little hurt about the semifinal weekend because I got some bad matchups for my team.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens there. But look, I think Trevor Lawrence did something that no one has ever done in the history of football.
Yep. 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a rushing touch.
And 50 rushing yards.
And 50 rushing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it was the Jets, and it was December, so you knew that the Jets were going to be laying down, but not to the tune of 330 passing, 5 touchdowns, 6 total touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence, 56 fantasy points.
And I needed him.
You did. You had terrible for your opponent because he ended up being the second highest scorer of the season.
The third.
Third highest scorer for the week in the playoffs, and losing because he was just matched up against the wrong team, the team who had the foresight to start Trevor Lawrence against that abysmal, defeated Jets defense.
I'm probably going to lose this weekend, and if I do, you'll have 2 9-7 teams fighting it out for the title.
Goodness gracious. That's crazy.
It's all about matchups, man.
It is. It is all about the matchups. And part of my picking. I mean, so look, I drafted, I sunk all of my $200 the money pool during the draft, the auction draft. I sunk 150 of that into 3 players: Josh Allen, hit, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson. And I was actually, even being a Bills fan, I was most sure about Justin Jefferson because he's quarterback proof, right? He's the stud wide. Exactly. That's right. In August of 25, in my mind, he was quarterback proof. He was matchup proof. He is the best. I had him ahead of Jamar Chase. Otherwise, I would have gone after Chase and CD Lamb. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it was a bad year for Justin Jefferson in that Minnesota and the Minnesota Vikings team. All right. Well, enough about fantasy football. So amongst my 5 teams, I had the misfortune of the whole team crap in the bed in that guillotine league. So finished second, losing in the final. Um, and the remaining 3, of course, this one, our league, I lost in the first round of the 8-team playoff. The remaining leagues, I've put together a team for the ages. Now, this is a 10-team league, but still, the team I was able to put together, I've got Stafford as my quarterback. I've got Njigba and Jamar Chase as my wideouts. I've got Achan and Jonathan Taylor as my running backs. I've also got Aubrey as my kicker. And the remaining players, I've got Chris Olave, a bona fide number 1. I've got Etienne, Travis Etienne, who by all counts has had a great year. I've got Sutton, I've got Pittman, and really the weakest part of this team was Walker, where I thought Walker for Seattle was going to have a big year, and he'd had a terrible year until this week when I put him on the bench. And he rips off that 55-yarder and ends up with 24 points. But that's fine because Stafford had himself a day in that game that took place, as well as Njigba getting another 20 points, touchdown, over 100 yards, all that good stuff. So I'm winning the semifinal. I mean, I'd be shocked if I'm projected to win by 40 points right now. I'd be shocked if something catastrophic happens, but catastrophic things do happen in the playoffs. So we'll see, and hopefully I can at least bring home one Super Bowl this fantasy season. Because as good as my teams were, my one team was decimated by injury. It's called Love Thy Neighbors. So yeah, I lost Neighbors. I think I had Neighbors and Omario Hampton on that team. So losing those back-to-back weeks in week 2 and week 3, or week 3 and week 4, whatever it was very, very difficult to recover. I ended up missing out in 5th spot out of the playoffs, and then now I'm destroying my opponent in the consolation round. But it doesn't matter because you don't make the playoffs. You can't play for the league. Yep. So here we are. All right. Enough about fantasy. Good luck to you. I hope you can pull it off. And who are you playing this week?
The Baltimore
Botox. Okay, yeah, I'm going to be pulling for you because he's the defending champ, and he's actually won 2 out of the last 3. Right?
And the thing is, I would argue that for the majority of the year, I have been a better team than him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it will not matter because the matchups I have this week are just brutal. I think it'll end up being close. But
I forgot. I just looked at man. I even picked up Michael Wilson. It's such a good team in a 16-team league. Oh, that's so painful, man. Yeah, I forgot. I picked up Wilson that week before he blew up. And then he had the 13 catch game and the 9 catch game. And then last week he did well. It's Justin Jefferson, man. Justin Jefferson absolutely cost me a Super Bowl. But here we are. All right. So Stafford and Darnold engaged in an absolute shootout on Thursday night. And surprisingly, Seattle pulled that one out. I mean,
in overtime.
Yeah, in overtime. Um, can we? I mean, that still doesn't lock up the division for them, right?
No, I think that so they're a game ahead now of the Rams, and no one has clinched the division yet. Well, they of those two.
Yeah.
The Eagles have clinched the division with 2-game worst records because the East is so bad.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Seattle doesn't have an easy road here. They got to go to Carolina and then to San Francisco, and both those teams, I think Carolina, even if they lose today, they might still have a mathematical chance next week. So they'll still be playing hard
because they play in the NFC South.
Yeah,
which is even worse than the NFC East.
Yeah, no, there's some bad conferences for sure, but yeah, so Carolina's probably going to be playing hard, so it's not a gimme next week, and then they play at San Francisco, and maybe San Francisco is still needing to win that game to
San
squeeze.
Francisco's got the Colts today, and I think they're going to win that game because the Colts have just been on a banger of losing. I mean, I think Shanahan's a really good coach, but man, is there any coach who's been unluckier with injuries than Shanahan the past few years?
Yeah, nobody.
Because look at that defense. That defense has been devastated. And I like Salah as a defensive coordinator, but there's only so much you can do when you have the injuries he's had.
Yep.
And
it's year after year, right? It's not just I don't know what it is. Maybe you can start to look at the training staff, but it's I mean, remember that one year where they had a decimation of their running back core,
and then their quarterback core.
Yeah, quarterback too. I remember. Yeah. They were down to
Purdy's freshman or rookie year.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's just that they keep losing key players to injury. Even this year, I mean, Kittle, he came back just in time to destroy me in fantasy football, but I mean, he missed 7, 8 games.
Yeah,
he got hurt in week 2, week 3, and or week 3. But yeah, I mean, some teams just cannot avoid the injury bug, just like my Buffalo Bills and their defensive side. Luckily, the injuries have been on the defensive side, not on the offensive side, because they're thin outside of Superman behind center. But they've been decimated by injuries. But I think the defense is starting to come back together. They did lose Jordan Phillips last week, but it's Jordan Phillips. Maybe I'm forgetting. I'm confusing the first name. The defensive tackle. But Ed Oliver should be coming back before the playoffs. Milano just came back. Bernard, the linebacking core that had been decimated, is starting to come back.
They are,
and hopefully that means that they can start plugging up the defensive holes. But let's talk about that. The defensive holes for the running backs, allowing Travion Henderson to rip off 2 50-plus touchdowns in that game, and still being in a 21-0 hole against the Patriots in Foxborough, and basically being on the verge of this was about to be a technical knockout. They'd been knocked down twice, and they were teetering down 21-0, and to come back because Josh Allen went into the phone booth.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, can you really rely on him to do that against all the playoff teams?
Houston's the only one that
3 in a row.
Yeah,
great. I don't know. Like, I still think the Patriots ended up winning the division, but it's the Bills are a team I wouldn't want to play if it was my team in the AFC playoff, but I also wouldn't trust that they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Not trust, but hope.
The eternal slayer. Yeah, I get that. I still think that the Broncos are the class of the AFC because of that defense.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. I think Vicks can make enough plays with his feet and his arm to get the Broncos in the Super Bowl, and I think that they're gonna. It's probably gonna be the Rams or the Seahawks out of the NFC because I just don't trust Caleb Williams in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't know if I trust this year's version of the Eagles. Though they're obviously in. The Packers have too many injuries at this point. Now that they that minor league player they got in a trade right before the season started has gone out. Parsons.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Seattle or the Rams are going to come out of the NFC, and I don't know which team it's going to be. I still trust the Rams more than the Seahawks, even though they just lost in overtime.
Yeah. No, look, Stafford has proven that, when it comes to quarterbacks, I don't know if there's a quarterback whose majority of the career was wasted in just football purgatory in what the Lions used to be for the first 10, 11 years of his career that he spent there. Even though he had Megatron for a large chunk of that, they just did not have anything else around that team.
That Detroit team at that point in time was a contender with the Browns and the Bengals for the worst organization in football.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not
anymore. They've shaken up their front office staff, and that's why they're good now.
Yep.
But his, 3/4 of his career was wasted in Detroit. Can you imagine if he'd had McVay as his coach the entire time?
Oh my goodness.
He'd be instead of what we're calling him now a borderline Hall of Famer, which I don't believe is the case. I think he should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He would just be an absolute lock.
Absolutely. And then he would probably have, with better coaching, better defenses around him, he would probably have a couple of Lombardis.
Yep.
Not just the one.
Certainly more playoff appearances, more playoff games.
Yeah.
So, I think Stafford's a great quarterback.
He is. I want to touch on the Eagles. You mentioned you don't trust them. So everybody's the Eagle defenders, Eagle apologists are gonna say, hey, they just beat the Commanders yesterday, 29-18.
Yeah,
they were down 10-7 at the half to this Commanders team that has already lost the season and has been abysmal on defense. That offense is just, I don't know what's happened, but the fall off that they have experienced this year. Look, you knew historically, I mean, and that's part of the reason, I was able to trade for Saquon Barkley. And I didn't have a high level of confidence trading for him because historically, you get that type of usage, the type of usage he had last year. No running back has come back from that except maybe LaDainian Tomlinson, right? When he had that 3-year stretch. But you can't get that type of usage and come back and repeat it. So you knew that there was going to be a fall off on the running game with Saquon Barkley, but I don't know what's happened with Jalen Hurts. He's been off.
Well, Jalen Hurts has never been able to read his own defense in his life. Okay, and I don't look. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he is an interesting and almost unique type of quarterback, but he's like a poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
All right. And the reason why he's got a Super Bowl victory and another Super Bowl appearance is because of the domination of the lines from Philadelphia, both offensive and defensive.
And then they lost a lot of that depth.
They especially on the defensive side.
Yep.
So I just don't think that they're gonna have to restock somehow. And I don't know. He's not a quarterback that's going to win the game by himself. He's not going to put on that cape like you always say.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's where I still have questions about Darnold in big games, but he did just beat his nemesis, the Rams.
Yeah.
Partially because the Seahawks have a really good line themselves. So I'm not ready to call a Super Bowl champion yet. If you made me bet right now, I'd still bet the Rams. But it'd be the Rams or the Broncos.
All right. Well, if I were betting with someone else's money, I would bet on the Bills. But yeah, we'll see. Look, I still have hopes for the AFC East title. I'm going to be pulling hard for the Ravens over the Patriots, and then hope that they somehow lose to the Dolphins, because there's no way they're going to lose to the Jets. There's no way, even with all the upsets going on in the NFL. I mean,
No, they're going to be the Jets have, I think, quit.
Yeah, yep. I think they absolutely have. So I hope that I can't believe I'm in this situation, but at this point, I'm going to be pulling for Ewers to have himself a good start tonight, so that he can build off of it, beat the Patriots. The Bills have to win out, and they've got the AFC East. And boy, that propels them to the second seed. And then it's easy from there on. It's easy, right?
It's just
Nothing
easy.
is
Yes,
easy in the
obviously, and
NFL.
so we'll talk again after the new year, but we'll revisit that easy comment.
All right,
Things
man.
are going to change. We got 2 full weekends between now and then.
Yeah, I might be.
Of teams.
I might be devastated by the time we get back together. But look, I mean, the Bills should get into the playoffs, and really, at this point, what I really want them to get, if they're not going to win the AFC East, I want them to get that 5th seed, so that they are playing against the Ravens or the Steelers, whoever wins that abysmal division, to get an easy victory. Moving on. But we'll see. Lots and lots of football to come over the next couple of weeks, and games have started. It is 2 minutes after noon. Good luck to you in your fantasy football, Shep, and I hope you get to the finals, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll definitely have a champion in our league by the time we get back, and maybe even know how the playoff picture has solidified by then a little bit more. Always a pleasure, Shep. Merry Christmas. Have a happy New Year, and we'll talk in a couple of weeks.
All right, same to you and your fam.
Thank
Hope
you.
everything goes well.
All right, man. Bye. Yep. Okay, well, that's it. We're going to be signing off for a couple of weeks. We'll be back in exactly 2 weeks for more Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad. This is Rizwan signing off. Have a good one.